Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Anna Saturday. This is Those Guys. I'm Matt Marrero, flipping things around. Who is with me today?
I flipped around. I am Tristan Walter.
Walter Tristan.
Can I be unflipped around?
Yes, Tristan Walter. So, we are doing another Anna Saturday during Halloween in July. Ooh, spooky stuff. And we are talking about the first season, and it's so cool that I can say first season because it's already been confirmed that there's going to be a season 2. The first season of The Promised Neverland. Ooh, scary stuff. Dead children. Really scary shit.
Does he?
Well,
shit.
I mean, it is. What did you think? Did you think this was a comedy? What?
I watched this before you did.
Yeah, but I'm like, this is scary, spooky stuff, and you're just like,
oh no,
yeah. Like you're the one who told me, like, dude, this is going to be a rough ride.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about season 1 now. We're doing something new. You only watched the subbed version. I've only seen the dubbed version. Whoa, what wacky shenanigans are we going to get into today?
And together we form. I don't actually know.
A complete DVD that Aniplex of America might charge $100 for. So I don't know. There's no DVDs out yet in the U.S. for The Promised Neverland, but I have a feeling because Aniplex is behind it, I'm probably never going to get them due to price. But we'll find out. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I have a feeling. Tristan. Anyway, why? So I know why The Promised Neverland drew me in. Why did it draw you in? Like, what did you hear about it? What drew you into it? And you were actually watching this with Anthony Toto, a friend of ours that comes on the channel. So, was Anthony behind his couch, sitting on the couch? Was he not looking at half?
He was sitting in his chair watching my facial expression turn to sheer horror and enjoying every second of it. And as we finished it, I looked over at him and I realized, and I said to his face, I'm like, "You realize you're a monster, right?" He's like, "Oh, I am full aware."
Oh, well, that's a complete role reversal, but all right. It's not what I was expecting.
And now
anyway.
I have taken the role of the monster by passing it on to you.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing The Ring today. That's not. I didn't realize that's what we were doing, but all right.
You're getting shipped out.
What? Excellent. Try to drag me out of here. I'm like looking at my weight. I'm like, you try it.
Okay. Well, I mean, they don't need all of you, Matt. They just need your brain.
That's true. But let's talk about, again, what drew you in. Like, did a friend of ours tell you about it, or were you like, oh, this is the big thing? Because obviously there was a lot of hype surrounding The Promised Neverland online. So, like, what?
Yeah, a mutual friend of me and Anthony's, we all watched, like, the first episode after he was, like, getting into it. He's like, this is great. You need to watch this. So we did. And after the first episode, I'm like, no, please stop. Please, no.
And I have so much on my plate. I didn't get into it, but then it was on Toonami, and you and I talked about it on Keikaku Corner. We were like, because we usually talk about news topics there, and we said, hey, this is coming out, guys, dubbed. Let's see what happens. And so it's been on my DVR, and it's funny. We were recording this in advance, but we had a date in mind of when we were going to actually record this, and I blew that by like 2 days in advance because I was like, oh, let me watch some of this now because I don't want to, stuff to happen, too much on my plate. And then when I marathon it on like the day or the day before, I can't watch all of it and then I'm inconveniencing you. I don't want to do that. So I was like, oh, I'll just do it today.
New record.
Yes. It was just pretty much, I did sleep, yes, so like technically you could argue it's 2 days, but right before I decided to go to sleep, I was like, let me check out one episode, and then one episode became like 3 or 4, and then I fell asleep, woke up, and I was like, so I guess I'm watching more now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what this series does to you, because it's not that I didn't like it when I saw the first episode, I was just like, oh God, children being devoured, I'm like, nope. Get me off! Let me off the train! Conductor, stop here! But I was still intrigued by, like, the mystery sense of it, like, you know, why are they being shipped off? Where are they? How the hell are they going to get out? Like, all of that interests me. So it was my concern that it was a little more going to be more horror heavy than, like, suspense, but it feels more on the level of, like, Alfred Hitchcock, like, suspenseful and not, like, nom nom nom, eat the children's brains.
Well, I wouldn't say that's horror. I would say that's more gore, which is it's still relevant though, because you can't handle gore, and that's nothing against you. I'm not trying to put you down for it. It's just that with a lot of gore, especially the animation looking this good, and of course it being children, I can understand why you'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, guys. It's great premise, but I can't. If, like, you know, we were going to see, like, dismemberment or some crazy shit like that. You know? Like, if that was going to happen.
Kind of weird. Yeah, it's weird with me because, like, I don't know. Like, action gore isn't as bad, but, like, if we're talking, like, horror movie gore, then I'm like, I'll be back.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, it's different, like, even with something like Fist of the North Star, while it was obviously very bloody and stuff, there were certain elements of it that I think you could be like, yeah, you know, again, it's fighting, there's two people that are on the same level. It's a bit different with, like, if a monster was like, I'm just going to rip this girl in half. It's actually, even though it's action related, even something like Attack on Titan is a bit hard for you and I to watch at some points.
Sometimes.
Because it's like, bruh. Because, like, they're not on the same playing field. That's the thing, right? Like, usually, it's for you, I think, because I've known you for a while, it's mostly like a level playing field situation. That's why with action stuff, it's like, yes, this is two people who, you know, they're both against each other punching. Maybe one of them flies into the propeller. Oh, fuck, that's insane. But they were both, like, that's happened in movies before. But, like, they're both punching each other. It's on the same level, you know? Like, one of them isn't, like, a giant or something. Or in this case, a demon as far as the kids are concerned. But it's not been confirmed in this season that they were demons. The kids called them demons. None of the adults called them demons. Crone literally said, oh, you mean them.
Right.
She didn't call them demons. And that's a big thing to pick up on.
They looked pretty demon-y.
They look like demons, yes, but, I mean, they could easily be aliens. They could easily be, like, some mutation, because they're skull-like mostly. I mean, granted, they look like Shinigami, so you would think, like, demons. But, like, you don't know, like, because in my head, demons is like, oh, there's this whole demon world that, like, a portal opened. It's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
Heck, this is 30 years in the future. Between that 30 years, we could have got some alien invasion shit, terraformed the whole planet.
Yeah.
You know? So, I love, by the way, between this and Attack on Titan, no matter what we talk about, I'm like, aliens, man. It's the aliens.
And there's
man,
always
I
a
swear.
wall. And then a ditch.
You know,
and then sadness.
Yes. The wall is interesting. Not like just in general. Like, it's interesting how both of these works have like giant walls, especially both of them being kind of like not Western, but they're not Japanese. There aren't really Japanese characters in both. Very few in both. Very interesting. Just random parallels that are interesting. But talking about The Promised Neverland again, though.
Well, just quick, like something like that is an easy obstacle to put in that's not, you know, super overpowered, like the children would have no chance against. Like, yeah, if they put their heads together and think about it, they could possibly be able to climb it or get over it. So it's a good obstacle to throw in that's not too, like, over the top and, like, crazy, you know?
New Promised Neverland, 3-on-3 fighting game. Emma versus the Wall.
My God. The Wallow?
Yeah, Emma just fighting the wall. But it's the year 2045.
JoJo's Bizarre Neverland.
Jesus Christ. It's 2045, so they're 30 years in the future. They mentioned that they had books from 2015, like the latest. So I'm thinking something went down around that time. Also, I'm pretty sure the manga started coming out in 2015. That's why that date was relevant. So something went down because they have 5 farms, right? There is an outside world, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as happy-go-lucky as anyone in this series has been surmising, have been thinking about. I'm pretty sure that, and also would like to note that Tristan and I have not read further on in the manga. Please don't spoil down below if you're watching this on our YouTube channel. Those guys on the radio, don't spoil in the comments. Fake spoilers are fun, so you know if you want to be like, in season 2 Goku will appear, like that's great. But I mean, hey, Goku
none
would
of that
be like,
mattered once they escaped, because then the Titans came, and then Beerus blew up half the planet for having bad sushi.
I feel like Goku would have just, with instant transmission, would have just solved all of this very quickly. Very quickly. It's just kind of funny.
Kids,
we're thinking
go.
of other.
Grab on.
Literally sends back Chi-Chi. What have you been doing to those kids? Just beats up Mom.
Yeah, oh, God, right?
I mean, Chi-Chi knows.
Chi-Chi would beat the hell out of her. That would be amazing.
Anyway, 3-on-3 fighter. Jump Force. Mom versus Chi-Chi. Or Mom versus Videl. Videl's in Videl's in Fighter Z. But anyway, mods are great. Anyway, so I think that this series, this season specifically, people online were saying it was kind of slow. This was before I even watched it. So when watching it, I do think that when you're out of it, right, when you're out of the season, you're like, you know, it is kind of slow a bit. But when you're in it, when you're watching it episode to episode, getting bits of information, really wanting to dive into what is going on in the world around them, I don't think it feels slow. If that makes any sense.
No,
like watching it week to week.
I don't think it feels slow either.
No, but I think looking back on it, now that the way they ended it that way, where it's like, yay, we have hope now. We're on the outside, and it's just like cut it right there. Not even like just some inkling of what might happen next, like, because in my head I'm like, oh, they're all gonna die. They're all fucked. Like that's just my take on it. Like they're all dead. But not dead as in they died and that's them being in like purgatory, although that would be an interesting take on it too, if that actually is what's going on. They're all just in purgatory. But I assume that it's a bit more technical, like technologically minded, the story. Because they still have, like, cause it would be weird if like, you're in purgatory, but you have matches and you have ham radios and stuff like that.
Right.
But what I want to say though, Tristan, is that at the end, like the end of everything, it just cutting to black like that, I was like, bruh. I know, again, it's been confirmed there's going to be a season 2. Obviously, every anime is made so that you can read the manga. And honestly, like, I got that new Shonen Jump app so I can read the manga. Not an ad, just legit, I got the fucking app so I can read the manga. Yeah. But it does feel a bit like it's just trying to bait me into reading what's next. Like at the end, like not even like a, because even My Hero Academia season 1 was like, tune in next time for season 2, or like One Punch Man was more of a, I think, conclusion where like it's in its season, like it had a big thing that happened, so it felt like it was like, yeah, like if there's a next season, we'll watch next time, but it was concluded. I will admit Attack on Titan first season definitely did that, but hell, we didn't know that it was going to be that long until a frickin' season 2. But still, it was definitely trying to like bait you into reading the manga. Like, what's going on there? You want to read that, don't you? So in this case, it is making me feel that way. Like it's like, well, we got out. That's the big thing, but you don't know what's going to happen next. But oh no, there's all that manga out there, and it's in your language. I guess you should maybe read some of that. Like, it just feels like I need to read it now.
Right. I mean, that's...
I mean, are you cool with waiting?
That.
It's fine if you're cool with waiting. Now that I have the
access
to it, now that I have access to it,
no,
I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah, it's because I have access. If I didn't have any access to this, I'd be like, do I buy volumes? Do I have that kind of money? Oh, I don't. Well, all right then. Well, I guess I'm just doing everything else that I need to do for the channels. But in this case, it's like, wait, I have the app. So, I can read all this. So let's talk about some of the characters. I was not expecting Norman to die, and because they didn't really show it, I was confused as to what even happened.
Yeah, because I don't think he's dead, to be completely honest.
Okay, so you feel, okay, good, because I'm kind of in that camp as well, because they had no problem showing Connie, which,
right,
I mean, you had
exactly.
to. Well, you had to move the story along, but they had no problem showing Connie, but then they cut away from Norman,
Right, well, to give them a sense of fear, like, this is going to happen. We've seen it with our own eyes.
No, yeah, again, you have to move the plot along, so you have to show that, but I'm just confused that with Norman, we didn't see that, and then we have this weird turn with Mother, i.e. Isabella, this weird feeling that she isn't as intimidating as we initially thought, and then didn't think, and then did think.
She's still pretty cray.
No, yes, I'm not saying that she's not. I'm not saying that there isn't a level of dissonance and insanity to do what she has done to these children for not 19 years, for 12 years. But what I am saying is this. With that turn that she had at the end, letting the children go, like, are you telling me she couldn't have just, like, snapped Emma's neck on the spot?
Oh, she totally could have.
But she
shattered her leg.
Yes.
Well, she broke it clean. Like, holy shit.
I mean, that's what they train them for. You know, they don't.
I know.
They're not raising like I'm currently on the app. I'm currently reading Naruto.
Demons didn't raise no fool.
I'm just saying I'm reading Naruto. Like in first volume Naruto, she would have fucking murdered him. She would have been like, I'm the greatest ninja of all. You're done. Bring me your next. Sakura would be like, did you just bring me the next one? Sasuke would have burned her alive. Sasuke would have filleted her. But, like, out of that whole cell, look, he had fire at the time. So even volume one he had it. I'm currently reading it. Even in volume one he had it.
I know.
But she still would have taken out Naruto because he would have been yelling, and she would have just been like, psh, and then taken him out. I'm just saying, like, she's intense, so, like, clean leg break. But she didn't do that to Emma. So there's this weird turn. I mean, she even walked up to to that little kid. I can't remember his name, but, he was the one who stayed behind with the other little ones. And she talked to him and was like, they escaped. As in, like, I know your fucking plan. I know that you're in on this, but I'm not going to, like, tell all the other kids to stay here because we're going to go on a search party. I'm going to throw you into the fire. She didn't do that. She's like, I'm content. They left. Hopefully they actually get to where they need to get to, out of here. Like, she's changed, or at least something has been awakened in her. I mean, hell, that was her own kid, which we learned towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Ray was her child.
Ray was her kid.
Oh, my God.
Mom, why did you have me? And the armor breaks.
Yeah.
The mental wall breaks.
Mm-hmm.
It was for survival.
And it makes...
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. As I was watching that, it made me slightly sick to my stomach.
It's a very interesting kind of piece of social commentary because the men are not kept at all. They're just killed no matter what. But the women, they have a choice.
Who knows? I don't even know.
But we know this much, Tristan. we know the women. We know this much. They have two choices. You either die or you become a mother. And the society tells them you should strive to be a mother. You should enjoy this. But to have this privilege of being chained like this, and then having to hold this baby and give birth, and that's how you prove your worth. You have to have the best test scores. You have to be athletic. You have to be it's interesting that it's telling them they have to be all these things just to then tell them, oh, right, this is the system that we've built for you is going to be the system that will either A, kill you, or B, put you into this kind of forced slavery motherhood.
Yeah.
Very interesting that that's how the series played out, because I just thought that, like, Mother was, well, either Isabella or Crone, they were both not on the same level as the either alien demons. Like, I'm assuming, obviously, they're bigger than all humanity, but
Right.
but they were still, like, they weren't at their mercy necessarily. But once we find out that, no, they are, especially with Grandma, where we see that she's like, oh, back in my day, you're like, oh, fuck, this has been going on for a while.
Yeah, at least a generation or two.
Yes. So very interesting to note that, because, and especially something that I find funny as well, and I think this is just from the perspective of two 26-year-olds, the fact that it's like, how old are you? And it's like, oh, she's 31, and it's kind of funny. It's like, you're so, like, she's so young, Isabella's so young, and then Crone's in her, like, isn't she like 26 or something? So like she was in her 20s. Yeah. How funny is that?
Yeah.
Like, I find it hilarious. Where it's just kind of like, it's because, like, usually, because, like, I feel like anyone watching this, if they're a teenager, maybe they're not thinking that's crazy old. Maybe they are. I don't know. But, like, just to, because, like, some of my students were like, you're old, and I'm like, I'm 26. No.
You're
or like,
old.
Or I was like,
oh, God.
yeah, no. I was like, or at the time I was like, I'm 24. What do you? No. But what I'm getting at, Tristan, though, is to all these children, it's like, they're adults. That's mom. It's mom. So. But it's not like they're, you know, like this crazy authority figure. It's like one's 31. Yes, they're two assassins, basically, but one's 31 and the other one's in her 20s.
Yeah.
They don't really got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's, but they're still considered the adults, technically, in the house.
Yeah. Her character really messes with me because,
Isabel?
I mean, you see her flashback as she's looking at Emma. Like, it's funny. I saw them as like foils to each other at that point because Emma decides to leave, and she believes in her choice and says, "Yeah, even though we have no idea what's on the outside, we're still going to try. I'm not going to let my family die." While Isabel is like, I had that choice, I almost escaped, but I turned around and gave it up to survive. And then, you know, so she doesn't, because there was at one point I'm like, oh no, don't tell me that this series is going to make me feel bad for her, because hell no. You're sending off children to be eaten. I'm like, I can't sympathize with that. I would have picked death. Just personally.
I know, but like, you're not wrong, but she was also raped. So like, I'm just saying, like, there's some sympathy there. That's forced impregnation.
Is that what's implied?
I mean, it's forced impregnation.
That's fair.
I'm not saying that someone physically did that to her. Again, that's what I'm assuming all men are dead. But, like, they have some, because I'm assuming that's the other reason why I'm thinking it's aliens with, like, crazy tech.
Yeah,
is because they have the samples.
We don't know what system they have in place, technically.
I'm assuming they have male samples. Because, like, even now you can do some crazy shit with science. So, like, and that's now. I'm talking about in our world. And this is 30 years in the future. So, because you don't have a system like this in place, it's 2045 in their world. Because the calendars consistently say that, like, I'm pretty sure it was 2040s. 2045. Yeah. So, like, you can do crazy shit now with science in terms of, like, you know, not just artificial insemination, but, like, other types of things involving that. I'm not going to get into the science now. But, especially because I haven't read up on it in a while. But still, crazy stuff. And this is a sci-fi anime. Sci-fi because, in my opinion, because I don't think it's, because they're in the future, to me it's not like, because with Attack on Titan it's weird, because it's like, yes, they have this crazy tech stuff, but a lot of it feels very much like olden times, right? But with Promised Neverland, as the series goes on, you start seeing the calendars, and then you start hearing about the holding facilities, and even when you just see Connie being put into that weird jar, like the large container and stuff. Yeah, to me, it doesn't seem like it's like, oh, it's older than times. I mean, again, they even mentioned 2015 was the last fucking book that they had, the newest book. So, like, this ain't olden times.
And yet it's
Shit's
not the only way that they consume, it seems like, either. Because Crone was, the flour was used on her. She wasn't eaten.
Well, no, Connie wasn't eaten either. They had the flour in Connie. They were taking her to another person who was buying her.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. No, there was never any, this wasn't like, there was never any technical, like, eating. It was just implied that, oh, we are going to, don't you worry. She's on the menu, but no one's ordering here. It's like, okay, we're
this
good.
Is the
no more
packaging
explanations.
center.
Yes. Yes, exactly. No, literally. Like, basically, they are in an Amazon warehouse. They're just shipping it out.
Holy shit!
Someone got Demon Prime. Like, they get it in 2 days.
Oh.
And then...
Oh, God. It's funny. All I could think about... Well, not all I could think about, but it kind of reminded me of Yu Yu Hakusho with, like, the Dark Tournament guy, the people who are all running it. Like, there's some kind of organization like that running everything.
What were they called again? Because like they had a terrible name in Japanese, but the English it was like the Black Club, and I was like, what? And it was like because of poker, but in like poker and cards, but like in the U.S. version, I forgot what they called them.
Yeah, no,
like
I'm
the
pretty
Dark
sure it was
Brotherhood
still the
or something.
Black Club.
Oh, but I feel like they gave them, at least on TV, they gave them a better name.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
But I think on the DVDs it's probably that. But it just sounds so odd. Anyway, so, there's, and also they clearly have a king or something, because they mentioned the one who can only eat, like, the best ones who are, like Emma or Norman or Ray.
Right, yeah.
So, and also you even see when some of them are talking to each other, there seems to be, like, this council of, like, 6 of them just sitting around each other, talking to each other. So, even within them there seems to be a hierarchy.
Yeah, which makes
of some
sense.
kind. Yes, of course, with how many of them there may or may not be, yes. But it was so interesting when they were, like, around the maximum security part at the end, there were no humans. It was all of them, just like, don't worry, we'll get them. That was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, there was a human voice saying, like, hey, guys, shit has hit the fan, so we're going to have to go on lockdown. Dope.
Yeah.
That was
so
there was that
at
person.
Least some kind of other, probably where they make their clothes or where they get the food. There's still farmers and textiles and stuff like that humans work at or are forced to work at.
Yes, but when it was like, all right, guys, so kill everyone that isn't like 3 of them. Cool?
Yeah. And
it was all demons.
Security force.
Or, all demons or monsters.
Demons are, right.
But that's what's interesting. That's why another reason why I'm kind of like, I feel like the men, although again there was that one guy, because it was a guy's voice on the intercom, but I'm pretty sure it feels like most of them get eaten.
Right.
I would
or
imagine.
have already been eliminated.
Right. Yeah. Probably a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah. So again, we know that there are 5 farms. We know that there is the warehouse, the shipping center, and then there's a bridge. And then that's where the clothes, like you said, come in and other stuff that, they need. And apparently, tech is still around to a certain extent because for those 6 years,
they need to communicate.
Well, not just that, but whenever Ray was like, hey, I want something, Mom was like, yeah, sure.
Right.
Mom, I want a PS4. I want to play Fortnite. There are so many reasons why you can't do that. There are so many reasons why you cannot do that. Also, where did you even know about Fortnite? Well, we have like a PSN magazine. We still get stuff like up until 2015. We have a lot of promotional stuff for Fortnite here.
My God. We even got a small discount.
Oh my God.
It's for the kids. Just let them have fun. Just let them have fun, for God's sake.
But no, you can't get video game consoles. But he was able to get cameras, matches, gum, toys, like weird stuff that it's kind of like, hey, if I just ask this every now and again, she's not going to be like, you're planning this huge escape. I mean, I'm sure she had it in the back of her mind, but he never did anything, so she was like, it's my kid and he's fucking weird. All right, that says something about me.
I'm going to anime MacGyver this shit.
Basically, he pretty much did that. He was so interesting to me, his character, because I think they did this also, at least in the the anime version, to kind of keep the momentum going of like what's going to happen next episode. But I had so many mixed feelings about him, because like you sit there and you're like, he's a traitor, and it's like, well, not really. He's actually playing both sides since the get-go.
Yeah.
But he was planning on killing himself because of what he's done, and it's like, oh, okay. Like, again, just
and what was done to him. I mean,
yes,
you know
course.
what? See, that was the interesting part, because I was not interesting, but I was like, that probably did something to his brain, just like chemically, like from our understanding of science. Like,
well, yeah,
it's probably going to affect how the brain functions and matures and tastes for you demons. Just so you know.
I mean, they're pretty much all adults, essentially. I mean, and that's something that I enjoyed about the series, is that because I remember being a kid and some family members talking to me in a certain way, and it's just like, I'm not what you think I am.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not an idiot, and I also have ears. I might not understand the entire context of what's going on, but I know something's up.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I'm obviously a lot smarter now, more mature now. That's all obvious, you would hope, right? You would hope that at 26, you're like, I'm better than I was at 12, right?
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, and especially, when I was 5 or when I was 6, but I do enjoy when a show actually understands, like, look, just because they're younger doesn't mean that they're all freaking, idiots. Like, yes, the ones that were, like, around the youngest's age, like he was, like, 4 to 5, obviously they're not going to be able to handle this. So, like, yeah, I get that, and I'm happy because, again, that makes a lot more sense. But why would someone who's 10 years old, especially, and I love how they kept this from us with camera angles and stuff like that, why, especially if you hear Crone and you hear Isabel, you hear them talking about all of this stuff, it's like, we weren't lying to you guys. Like, you're hearing it directly from their mouths. You know something's up, so why don't you join us? It was a nice twist, because at first I thought without that depth, without them hearing the conversation, I was like, this seems a little bit too far-fetched. Not that, it seems too far-fetched that not one person would be like, Mom, what the hell's going on here? Especially with Dawn doing that. Yeah. In a way. You would think that the rest of them would too, but again, just slowly recruiting them outside of, like, with us not knowing, the viewer not knowing, was a great twist at the end, and I think it worked really well.
Yeah, that was a cool twist. Oh, Phil, that was the name of the 4-year-old that she confided in.
Thank you, Phil. Also, something I want to mention about Dawn, and this is going to be a super huge, and I mean huge, tiny pet peeve. It's such a minor thing, but it's just something that I think should be noted. For some reason, the way they pronounced Dawn, it sounded like Dawn. So I legit thought his name was D-A-W-N, and I was like, well, that's an interesting name that they gave him, and then I look him up, and I'm like, no, it's D-O-N. I'm like, then why are they pronouncing it as Dawn? It's Dawn. Like, the littlest ones make mispronunciations, and it's cute, like Norman, and I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, the littlest ones will say names wrong, but, like, literally everyone else who was around their age was like most of them were like, hey, Dawn, 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 Dawn. And I'm just hearing D-A-W-N, and I'm like, why? Now, again, you don't know much about this. You saw the sub, but, like, it was just odd. Again, super small pet peeve, irrelevant to the grand scheme of things.
I was
just mentioning.
I always saw the subtitle, so I always knew it was Dawn.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
And like, if you're watching that is interesting because you're watching the English. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those. It's finally we brought up Naruto earlier. It's the difference between someone going, "Oh no, Sasuke," and someone being like, "Oh no, Sasuke," and it's still in English. It's still the English dub. Or like with, oh my God, Yuri Lowenthal. I want to buy that. Yeah. I want to buy him a drink. Yeah, I want to buy him a drink. Because he never could have just been like, oh no, Naruto. It's like, Naruto, 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 Sakura, 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 Naruto. It's just like, dude, it's okay. You don't have to, I mean, granted, mouth slaps, so like that I get, but it felt like it wasn't a mouth slaps thing. Yeah, it felt like it wasn't a mouth flaps thing. It felt like it was like no, I have to say it the right way. And everyone else on the cast I'm going to do it. Not at all. such a good voice actor, though. Not even just for Sasuke,
No,
but
I
he was
love
also he was in Marvel's Spider-Man. He was Spider-Man.
He's done so many things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he was also in Code Geass. He was Suzaku.
Yep.
Yeah. He was not in this, though. But you know what I liked about the dub of Promised Neverland? For the most part, a lot of people, even though they had a few roles, a lot of them I didn't know. They were literally like, this was like their third or their fourth role. And anyone who was more experienced, like Michelle Ruff or Erica Lindbeck, were like the kids, like, 4, 5, 6, 7, like very young, very minor.
Right.
And I think that was really cool because this dub was done by Bang Zoom Entertainment because, Aniplex doesn't do stuff in-house, so they hired them. So I really loved that they got a lot of newer people into this because I feel as if, especially with an anime like this, the last thing I want, and maybe it's because I've over the years have watched a lot of anime, but it just feels like the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, hey, that's Johnny Young Bosch. Oh, hey, that's Yuri Lowenthal. Oh, hey, that's... And just keep on naming names. Like, it's good to be able to just go, this is Norman. This is Emma. This is Ray. This is Dawn. It's really cool to see that. And something else was, I wanted to mention Dawn for another cool thing as well. So both for Dawn and for Crone, they actually got African-American actors to play both of them. And that's something that I'm so happy to see and I think needs to be done more often because I feel as if in anime, when you have characters who are of color, in most cases African-American, when they're in anime, either they have one line, so then the company, whatever company it is, wants to save money, so they just get whoever they can who's already dubbing 8 other characters in there. Right. And then it doesn't have, the person doesn't just so happens to not be African American, or when a character is big, especially like in something like Penny and Stocking, you had Chris Sabat, who I actually like his voiceover work, but he did a voice. He was I can't remember his name now.
Garterbelt.
Yes, you're right, Garterbelt, Penny and Stocking, and Garterbelt. Yes, so yes, he was the priest. And you sit there and it's like, look, I love his work, but there's nobody in the area who's African American who could have voiced him over. Really? Come on.
Yeah.
So in this case, with having 2 high-profile characters that are African American, recurring, it's like one of the younger kids, Phil. He was not voiced over by an African American woman, and again, he had very minor lines until the end. That's not a biggest concern to me. But with someone like Crone and someone like Dawn, it's like, could you get someone of color? And then they did, and I thought that's great because, again, it's something that doesn't happen that often. So when it does, why are we not giving that chance to a younger African American actor or actress? And in this case, both of the actors and actresses who played them were very young. I believe the woman who played Crone was also 26. Again, one of like 3 roles that she's played. So it's like, yes, just give more experiences. It's not like neither of them can play white actors or white characters or, any other type of character. Of course they can. But again, like you have these 2 characters there, especially with Crone and her. I don't know if you know about the controversy, Tristan, surrounding her depiction that people were talking about online.
Right. I don't think I've actually heard it, but I get the feeling I know where it's going.
Well, I think it's weird. I hate being the context police because I hate when someone's like, well, in context, because like usually it's just a bad argument to excuse something. But in this case, it actually does work because out of context, I'm like, yo, they just put in a black maid. That's not good. Like they just put in a black maid and she's drawn in a way that's stereotypical, like a maid in a certain era that's just like, I don't like it. But then in context, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is not just happening to her. This is Isabel as well. This is happening to any woman in that position. And also, it's not like Crone is particularly crazy because, like, your first thought is, no, Isabel's the one that's crazy. Crone just sings, Like there's something off there, but, like, it's also off with Isabel as well. You are not...
Right. Everyone has their special flavor of off in this series.
Yes, definitely. Again, these adults even doing this, like you said, particularly, like if you said if I had the choice, I would have died. I would not have been a part of this system, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have some weird, not just survival mechanism, some survival drive, but also this inability to kind of have empathy for another
Right.
person to be in that position and put yourself in that position. I mean, again, like, I still feel bad for her because of the forced impregnation, but because I do believe that was implied, because she literally said, I had you for survival. Like, you even said you felt sick when she said that, because that means that she wasn't, like, you know, having him because it was like, oh, I think it's time. No, she's told at 12.
You're right. That's fair.
She's told at 12, by the way. You got to be part of this system, otherwise we're going to kill you. And not even.
I think it was with having the flashback of her, like, you had the chance to escape. Why didn't you take it? I feel like they should have. I don't know.
Well, she never had the chance to escape. Escape is death.
Well, no,
she would have died.
Well, because she was on. Well, yeah, by yourself technically. You wouldn't last that long, most likely. But, like, she was on the wall. Like, she was able to scale the wall. And if she got that far and the other kids figured out how to get across, like, she had her own way of getting across, she could have done it. I don't know exactly why she stayed, and I hope that's, you know, like, further explained.
Oh, you mean why she, in the current time, as her 31-year-old self, why she stayed and didn't go with the kids? Is that what you mean, or?
Or, no, in the past, when you see, like, that flashback she has where she's on top of the wall as well.
Right.
Like, I feel like she could have left. Like, I don't know.
I don't think she, but wait, I'm confused because maybe it's all blending together for me because I saw this, again, in like 2 days. She didn't have the thing up, though, to slide across. That's Emma and her plan and what she did.
Yeah. No, I know. She had swung up onto the wall.
Yeah,
unlike
to see
how
what yes, to see what the fuck is on the other side.
Maybe she gave up at that stage, I guess.
Yeah,
I
mean,
feel like she could have figured it out too, you know.
I would have jumped off. What do you mean figure it out? I would not have thought, let me get rope and let me slide down. Like, even that, I think, is like, I'm shocked that it didn't break on any one of their weights. Hell, when Ray was with that girl on it, like saying, like, hey, calm down, don't worry, we're going to slide down this, I thought the rope was going to break. There was no, that's not a simple thing to think about.
No,
like,
I know, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that their group couldn't have been the only kids to, like, figure something like Isabel was incredibly smart as well. I feel like if not, like, the coat hangers or the rope, she could have thought of something else to get across the trench, you know?
Nah, there's nothing else, though. Didn't they only have the rope because of, not luck, but, like literally it's funny. I would argue they were
made
actually...
bed sheets, didn't they?
Right. Yes, I would argue their credit was Isabel's, her complete underestimation of them.
Yeah.
Like, she underestimated them at almost every step. She thought she was, like, on their tail, but truly never was.
I don't think it was her underestimating them. Underestimating them, yes. Not in their ability to think of a way out, but in their character, in their will. The will to escape. Yes,
exactly. But I would argue, even if Isabel had a will to escape, I mean, you know, there's the bridge, and then what else can you do? That was the closest point to, but even that, it wasn't close enough to, like, you can't jump. There's no cars. There's no vehicles. I mean, there is the one. There's the one, and we don't want to talk about that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, she's a horrible human being, but I don't think it's right to be like, she could have figured out something. The fact that the kids even figured out something is mostly the fact. Oh, right. They even said it in the show. The fact that there's 3 really smart kids, like, that doesn't usually happen. That's like their low-key way of being like, they're mostly idiots.
Having more support is, definitely an asset. But I don't know.
It's kind of funny, though. Isabel raised such good kids that they were like, yeah, we can actually get out of the nest. Another thing I think is also interesting to kind of parallel. Like, it's, you know, it's like real world and stuff, like parenting and stuff like that. It's like she raised them so well that they're like, so then we can leave the nest. And she's like, no, but I don't want you to leave. Like this weird mix of like, I know I have to sell you off, but like in a strange way I care.
Oh,
she's
no,
twisted.
I definitely got that, too. Like,
yeah.
she does care about them in her own way while they're there, as if she really were their mother, but it's still the twisted
She's a horrible person.
reality.
Yeah. But getting back to Crone for a second, so obviously, again, completely weird depiction of her and wrong depiction of her, in my opinion, but to also, because it's weird because I know that Japan gets our media, like as in our like movies and stuff, but I don't know if they know our stereotypes. So what I mean by that is there's the stereotype of like the angry, crazy black woman. And it's frustrating because, you know, black women in America, and this, I talk to enough people that I know this, so I'm not trying to speak on people's behalf, so I don't want to do that, but I've heard enough from people who have said, like, if I'm in a situation, let's say an African-American woman or man is in a situation, they feel the need that they have to act calmer despite it being something that's very frustrating because they feel as if they are in a situation where they will perpetuate this stereotype that has been pushed by different movies and things like that.
Right.
That, this is the crazy, black person. So I say that simply because, again, you see this, you see her, and she is someone who, again, in context, you're like, no, but then there's Isabel. Again, there's this whole system in place. And also, doing something like this doesn't keep you sane. Like, that's another thing, too, that I think you and I have also kind of overlooked. Like, who would be out of this all right? And having to do this. You have to raise these kids as if they're your own. And then at the will of some higher beings, be like, it's your time. And God knows how they die. Because I was under the impression that Isabel was just like, I'm going to choke you out. I don't know how they die. I just know that they die. Like, that's, I'm seemingly, if it's like with the way Crone died, they put the flower in them. And then it sucks, like, their energy up, I guess, because it blooms from it.
I mean, well, it turns red, so I'm assuming it's on their blood.
Yeah. But anyway, but still, so, there are these stereotypes that I understand. There are these stereotypes that I fully understand why people were upset at, but I do, honest to God, believe that in context it makes more sense than, but out of context, it's real bad.
It's a little rough.
Yeah. But again, I don't know if again the same stereotypes exist in Japan of African American people as there are here in the States, because you and I born, raised in the U.S., so I don't know. And something else that matters as well, I think, is, again, and this is just on the U.S. side of things, giving that still, even though there is some issues there, still giving an opportunity and a chance to people of color to be in the role. Because I also think that helps it as well. Because I remember seeing on Twitter that the woman who played Crone was, like, super happy to be in the role. She was like, I'm so happy to be in this, to be a part of this and stuff like that. So, again, it's giving that opportunity and that chance. And I do think that at least helps it somewhat, especially because the English dub, like, Bang Zoom Entertainment, they didn't make this. This isn't a U.S. company that made this. This is a Japanese, well, not even Japanese, U.S. company, but a Japanese creator, manga artist, stuff like that. So I feel as if this team just might not know of this stereotype. And again, it might be different in different, countries. So there are some stereotypes here that, like, I don't know if that translates over to Japan. So in other words, if there was a story about a really bad driver, in Japan, and that because they're Japanese, that driver is Asian, if that was brought over here, that would be really bad, So but again, I don't know if that stereotype in any way translates over there at all. Because a decent chunk of people over there are, well, everyone there is Japanese, native, but still, so I don't know, I really don't know what to take from that, to be frank, because again, when you're out of context, me seeing that out of context, I was like, oh, that's not good. It made me think of the old Tom and Jerry stuff. I was like, no, not good. Definitely need to do something about this. But watching it, I'm like, oh, everything's fucked up. Everything, this is, it's not like, because it's, even though it is frustrating that Isabel is kind of like, has Crone under her kind of control, if you will, and like, oh, you're my assistant and all this stuff, like, it is bad, but again, like, it's not like Isabel is is again like, oh, I'm rational and you're irrational. Like I would argue they're both, on the same level. Although it's interesting how, I don't know about you, but I felt bad for Crone by the end, especially with, like, I would have rather Crone been mom and taken out Isabel because of her willingness to actually work with the kids and not really two-time them necessarily.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, obviously, when it was like, it was, I don't know, like, I don't know. Like,
I did feel bad for her in a sense. But, like, I don't know how much of it was for the kids themselves and not just for her, like, to climb the ladder, per se.
I mean, it works. The kids would have escaped anyway. For me, it's an ends to a means, Oh.
Yeah, in this point, you take what you can fucking get.
Yeah, speaking of the kids being able to escape, I really am happy that with Norman, either with his death or with his disappearance, whatever you want to refer to it as, with what happened to Norman, Emma finally fucking realized maybe the plan should have some changes and some alterations. Because, look, I know Emma's 12. I know she's an optimist. I know I would have felt the same way that she did when I was 12. But, oh, my God, her being like, we can just strap babies to our back. It's like, you can't fly, genius. What are you going to do with crying children in the woods? Fuck the transmitters. They're crying children in the woods.
Right.
What are you going to do with them? We're going on a nighttime adventure, but don't tell Mom. That doesn't seem right. Oh, well, now you just fucking ruined your whole plan. Great, dope.
Great, dope.
Good job. Good job, kid. You did it. You did it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of why, like, it's funny. In that scene with Ray, like, just before they reveal to each other, or that it's revealed to the audience, like, it was just an act, right? I'm not, like, I mean, like, it sucks that Norman's gone, but, like, I'm not done. I'm not going down without a fight. And, like, the look in her eyes, like, honestly, that might have been the scariest, like, twig snap moment for me. I was like, oh, fuck, Emma's not fucking around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ray, I was kind of like, I can see where this is all coming from, and it's terrible, but, like, you know what? Yeah, they get that last fuck you in. I get it.
No, yeah, it.
But to see their characters
develop,
come into what they have now is really interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, that's why I think when watching it, it's hard for me to say that it's slow. But again, stepping back and being like, wow, it took 12 episodes for them to actually leave the house, and now we have to wait, if you're going by anime, wait a year to see what happens next. Fuck.
I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm used to taking breaks for stuff, and maybe that's just how we've grown up with anime, or, I don't mind a long wait, or just the idea of, like, as long as the content is still good, I'm okay with a decently long wait.
Well, no, I mean that's American. That's the more the American side than the anime side. Anime side, we would have gotten a 300 episode Promised Neverland on a weekly basis. Oh no, the kids are in the woods, but can they find the golden bug? Tune in next episode for the Promised Neverland.
Right. Fair.
Oh no, we're trying to leave, but there's a boar here or something. I don't fucking know. Buy the manga.
Yeah. And I guess it's because, like, I like Alfred Hitchcock movies and just the television show itself, and that's usually a very slow burn too.
Hey,
like, usually
you've been watching that too. You've been watching that too, huh?
Yes.
I have it on my DVR. Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, the Alfred Hitchcock Hour.
I want to start watching some of that.
Yeah, I think it's 1 hour-long episode, or it's 2 half-an-hour episodes. I can't remember now.
I think it's 2 half-an-hour combined. So it's technically one, but it's 2 stories.
Right. So, like, and it's more the suspense. Like, I mean, he's the master of suspense. So, like, I'm more used to that idea of something taking. Granted, that's a 30-minute episode, so it's not a 12-episode series, but I'm okay. I'm saying I'm okay with that slow build-up. Like, it never felt like it wasn't going anywhere. It never felt like it was going slow just for the sake of, we need time. It was always building up to something with subtleties in each episode.
No. Again, watching it, I feel that way. But, like, stepping back from it, I think you can see where I'm coming from. Like, stepping back, it's like, wow, it took them 12 episodes to finally get everything together and leave the house. Like, stepping back.
Because I mean, that's a good pace for this kind of story, though. Because
of course, it's on action.
If they get over their obstacles too quickly, then you either run out of things to make it believable, or you run through the series really quickly.
No, I understand. Just also because this isn't an action show, like, it's just, again, like, it's, I don't think it's, I'm saying it over and over because I just want to get it, like, across. Watching it, I'm drawn in. It's intense. It's, like you said, suspenseful. I'm on the edge of my seat. I got to watch the next one. I'm happy I saw them all in a row on my DVR because they all aired on Toonami just at the start of Halloween in July, I believe, is when it ended. And so I was like, Tristan, you know what we're going to do.
Right.
You know what's going to happen, Tristan. You know this. And you were like, yeah, I got to finish that up with Anthony. I was like, yes, you do. And so here we are. But stepping back from it, it's kind of like when you look at other shows and what they did in their 12 episodes, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, to be fair, I guess you could argue the same thing with My Hero Academia, but they did have a big thing to round it off, kind of like I don't say a boss fight, but they had a big event to round off the first season. You could argue the event is them leaving, but they got out within the last few seconds. Like, officially, they were like, oh, my God, we're in the clear. And then in doing that, you're like, oh, and then they cut. I was like, no. And then, of course, you have Emma's line, which, in my opinion, Emma's last line is basically, we don't know if we got picked up for a season 2, so this is very emotional. But then, of course, it's so popular that, of course, it got picked up for a season 2. Like, this anime or this story in general is so different and interesting. I think it's great for people who, like myself, who I haven't really watched a lot recently, so it's a great thing to draw me back in, something different and unique enough. And I think it's great for someone's first time watching anime, because especially someone who might not be interested in action stuff, so, like Dragon Ball Z, Shonen. So when it comes, because I think it's just different enough that it's weird enough, and because I feel like, yes, there are some shows, U.S., some live action, some animated, that do have a certain gravitas toward it, like a certain gravity, a certain sense of suspense. But at the same time, you also have to worry about people growing older, like Stranger Things, where like the actual actors are growing, so you have to do legit time skips or things like that to keep things moving. But in any sitcom or anything like that, you have to, any live action show. But in this case, or movie, but in this case, you could be doing this for 5 years, and hey, as long as you get all the actors back, you're good. The voice actors, you're good.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the kids can stay the same age for 5 years. So it's something that's different. It's also something that you really wouldn't see on U.S. television. Like, seeing Connie's dead body, I was like, oh, Jesus. And it's funny. Yeah. I say U.S. television when I saw this late-night Toonami. What I mean is, if they were real, like if it was live action on U.S. TV, even primetime FCC, like they would probably not show that. They would imply it, but they might not even show it because it'd be like, no, this is too unsettling. So again, it knows that it can push these limits, push this line, and again, it just introduces people into the interesting side of anime and manga. Like how this can be different from American counterparts, at least when you're thinking about from the manga perspective, American counterparts in the big, Marvel, DC area. Of course, things get different when you go into indie comics and smaller comic books and companies. But, yeah, when you're going big, I would consider this big because not only of how much it exploded, but also because it's, Shonen Jump. Which I find it so funny that Shonen Jump was like, you know what? Let's get weird. Now, they've been weird for a long time. Don't get me wrong, guys. Japanese Weekly Shonen Jump. But it was just funny how they just kind of looked around because I don't believe this is in a secondary book, like another like V Jump or something like that. I'm pretty sure this is in Weekly Shonen Jump. So they have this like right next to, not Super, but they have this next to like Boruto. And I'm pretty sure Boruto is in Weekly Shonen Jump, but right next to Boruto and One Piece. Like, think about that, right? You're like, boy, One Piece, although One Piece has gotten a bit darker. But, oh, boy, One Piece. And then you're like, let me see what's going on with these demons and these kids. Let me see what's going on next. But yeah, so, like I was saying, though, I do think it's great for someone's first time or even just to kind of draw you back in. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I would show this to someone who was like, I don't know what anime is. And I'd be like, do you like horror? Let's let's check this out.
Yeah, like if they were into that kind of genre, I would feel like, yeah, this would be a good one to start with. Definitely.
Yeah, because and also what I enjoyed too as well, it's the opening, which was so funny because at first I was like, this seems different, like it does, because maybe it's just because I've seen so much anime over the years, but sometimes you hear an opening and you're like, it's good, but it sounds like many other openings, right?
Right.
There's a certain style that you're like, I like it, but it reminds me of a bunch of stuff that kind of mixes together in the same pot. But but that's what's really funny.
You should know the band who.
I do, and that's what's because it was weird. It felt different, but then it made me also feel nostalgic in a sense because I was like, this is different than a lot of the stuff I've heard kind of recently, but it also makes me think about when I was first starting to watch anime in Japanese, even though I saw this dubbed, but in Japanese, and then I realized, it was the Loch Ness Monster. No, but I realized, I looked at it, and it was Overworld.
Yep.
And I was like, wow. D-Techno Life, Chance, God, so many songs, not just from Bleach, from other anime as well. Overworld was huge. So when I heard that it was them, I'm like, of course, this is some weird, beautiful mix with fucking all these instruments. And I was like, there's trumpets. Of course it's fucking Overworld. Yeah,
I was really happy to hear them again.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So, I mean, they've never really left, but they haven't been in stuff that we've been watching.
Right,
that's the
exactly.
Thing. Yeah.
Just to hear them again in something I picked up, I was like, oh, yay!
And it's such a good opening. Again, the visuals are just weird and different and out there. But, of course, as you start watching the show, the visuals in the opening and in the ending, which I don't hate the ending, but just it's not as powerful as the opening, which I know that's how it's supposed to go, but still. But hearing both and seeing the visuals behind both, it's interesting as the show went on, like things start to make more sense, not just with the roses and stuff like that, but also with the Morse code, by the way, that has been apparently there's someone out there who wants to help these kids. These were just the only ones that were smart enough, seemingly, to get out.
Right, who were able to find the code itself.
Yeah, and the reason why I say this, I know it's always sucky when, like, the trope is the season or the show, the time that you're watching the show is when we have this really smart, cool group of whatever, because they are the only ones that could figure it out. But I think in this case it makes sense because it's all kind of new, seemingly. Like, again, like it's not this hasn't been going on for, like, generations and generations, like maybe only 2. So this is something that I think the kids, they're like, whoa, we don't know what's going on. But there are adults out there who might have remembered the time before or whatever.
Right, yeah. No, that's fair, yeah.
So
I feel weird sometimes thinking of that. Like, I get that people will be like, oh, well, the hero of the story, always succeeds. Why is that? And it's like, well, I mean, for one, it's usually never really fun to see a story where everybody dies and, it's just the bad end. But it's also usually because there are plenty of times beforehand where, this was the first time there was a chance for them to actually succeed. So, of course, that's the one the story is going to be based around.
No, I get you. What I mean is that this time I think it's not like other kids have tried. I truly believe that this was a special crop and, like, the others, not that they're all dumb, but that they're just like, we're getting adopted, hooray. And it's just like, you sweet summer child. Well, sure, you're getting adopted. Should I take my toy? Don't worry, they're going to have amazing toys. You know how you like flowers? I love flowers. Of course you do, sweetheart. Oh, my God. But seriously, though, like, someone has been leaving these kids codes, so they got someone working with them on the outside. I don't know who, but I think, like, the name was, like, William something, but I'm assuming that's a fake name. William Mortzel or something? Yeah. But no, someone has been printing out these books, like reprinting them or at least notarizing them with the Morse code. And that's very interesting.
And that's also a clue that, there has to be more to the outside world than just the demons. Like, there are still people around, but they're doing, odd jobs.
Yeah,
because I don't. Places running.
Yeah, it would be really odd if and I'm not saying it can't happen, but it would be really odd with what we've seen so far if the rest of this world is like some Samurai Jack, like futuristic city, and we just need to feed these people, so we just made some fake humans, synthetic humans in a farm. It would be really odd if that's the world. Like I'm assuming it's kind of, I don't want to say other anime because I don't want to spoil it, but it's kind of like, a barren wasteland minus certain patches. Like, maybe
or maybe not barren
parts.
wasteland, but like humanity is minority now.
Yes, that's what I meant more. Humanity isn't dominant in all major cities and all. Yeah,
exactly. So there's no real way that they can uprise and be like, let's go save the children.
But it is crazy to think about when you actually think about how large the world is. Very large, guys. It really is, swear to God. A very large world. How small the farm and everything else surrounding it is in comparison to that world. Like what else is actually going on? Like, I'm hoping it's not all roses and it's just this one area. Like, guys, just cover up your necks and you'll be fine. Like, I'm assuming even if they get out, there's still going to be like a chase on for them, and people are going to know these kids stand out.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm assuming, and that's another reason why I felt weird about Emma's hopeful message. I know it's Emma's message, but still, I'm sitting there and I'm like, y'all ain't going to make it. But, Matt, they're free. Yes, until, like, one of them gets javelin.
That too.
No, I'm just expecting,
well, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to have, like, a time skip, and it's going to be them on the plan of coming back for the other kids now. And they're just going to be doing raids on, like, other farms to, like, get kids out and build up a movement at that point.
If they do, I hope they do it. This isn't the anime perspective. I hope they mix it up in the form of flashbacks as well with what happened during the time skip. Because it would be really odd if they're like, hey, not all of us survived, because statistically that's impossible. Not all of us survived, but out of all of us that left, there's still a good 8 of us, and we're coming back. It's like, okay, why did you take that huge jump? Like, I do want to know what happened in between all that, because even if they show themselves, like, in some random, like, folksy small town, there's cows, they're like, I don't know what the fuck those are. Well, no, they read about them in books. They read about them in. That's the cool thing too. Like they had a lot of weird, they knew a lot of random information through books.
Right. Yeah.
So they know what it was like. Oh yeah, Emma, I want to ride a giraffe. I see her skate. No, I see her standing on a giraffe. That's what's the word I'm looking for? Has rabies. Attack the demons! Attack the demons, Jeffrey! The giraffe is just eating demons. Well, it's the demons' fault. Their eyes are out of stalks. Like, you literally just, mow and curly them.
Yeah, right.
Like, what I find interesting is these demons, to me, don't really seem all that powerful. It's just that we're in a world where everyone's normal. So, obviously, yeah. Like, I don't know. I truly feel as if
I do wonder
Crone
if that'll come into play at some point.
I feel like if Crone got close enough to that demon's eye, she would have gotten him. Like, she would have blinded him. And that's my opinion. That's just my take.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't shoot him. Like, they're actually like bones, so you can't actually shoot them. But aim for the eyes, bro. They're huge. Their eyes are huge. Like, just shoot them in the eye. Then they can't see.
At the very least, buy yourself time.
Exactly. But no, I felt bad for her death because I was hoping for her to team up with the kids at least in some form or another, and then it turns into her being betrayed by Isabel, who always kind of put her down. Like, in a way, she kind of looked up to Isabel in a sense, but always found a way to put her down, always found a way to make her feel inferior. And again, she's gone through the same exact pain that Isabel has gone through in terms of, having to carry this child, but also in the academy always being considered lesser than by people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not that we're supposed to feel bad for them, like, oh, poor little, child murderers. but
Yeah.
they aren't the ones who, like, they didn't
they're
volunteer.
not the ones to throw. Yeah, they're not
Yes.
the ones to truly throw your anger at. They're victims of the system as well.
Yes. Granted, because they're managers in this system doesn't mean that we give them leeway. Like, fuck them. We can say that, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I personally feel weird being like, good, they got what was coming to them.
Yeah. No, it's
like, it's a weird mix. It's kind of like, man, I wish that she would have had the opportunity to at least go hand to hand with Isabel. Just hand to hand combat. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe she picks up Isabel. Maybe she, Bane Batman's her. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Right over the knee. That's all I'm saying. Just picks her up, slams her down. Picks her up, slams her down. Oh, look at them. They're just wrestling. Some of the kids are laughing. Then they're not laughing. Then they're like, is Mom okay? Mom, she's just laying there. Mama's fine. Oh, my, yeah, that's Isabella just coughing up blood.
Oh, God.
You want to know the weirdest part of this season to me?
Why did I just think of Black Lagoon? If you want to stop them, Rock, you should walk up and you should stop. You should go and stop them. Ladies, don't you think there's a different way that we could talk about our feelings? Shut the fuck up!
I feel like they would both yell that at Norman. Ray
no, Isabel
is
just like turns and smiles, like bleeding, like go back to your room. Oh, okay.
That's another good example too. What was his name again? I can't remember the character's name. The one who said that to Rock. The character said that to Rock. What was his character's name?
Oh, what, to go stop them?
Yes.
Oh, Dutch?
Dutch, thank you. Dutch. Also, another person who's of African American descent, I believe, who voiced over Dutch. Again, just when you have that large of a role in the series, it's just nice to see that every now and again. Happened with Dutch. I believe, even though he's technically not, I think, canonically black as a character, because I don't think anyone other than one character who's Singaporean, any of them are actually have like defined races. But Jet from Cowboy Bebop, I'm pretty sure his actor was also African American. So again, when it happens every now and again, it's great, but it doesn't happen all the time, sadly.
Right.
But jumping back to fighting to the death, I guess. No, jumping back to something that I didn't expect, that I actually didn't even know was a thing. I legit thought this was a joke all these years, and I was shocked when I saw it in the show, and I Googled it, and it's a real thing. Apparently, and please don't make fun of me, Tristan, if you knew this, the tin can phone method is real.
Oh, yeah, no, me and Anthony went back and forth on that for a few minutes, too. I'm like, I feel like I've looked at this and was, found it was real. It sounds so stupid, but the science behind it actually makes it possible. I'm like, am I an idiot for saying that? And Anthony's like, I don't think so.
I Googled it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It wouldn't have worked with them because the door was closed. It has to be
it's supposed to be
straight.
And it has to have tension on it, correct?
Yes. So
and
remember,
the vibrations will be able to pass along it or through it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's interesting because the first time I heard about this, the reason why I thought it was some just huge, large joke is because the first time I've ever heard about the tin can thing, and it was in other media too, of course, growing up, but I heard about it in SpongeBob. So I was like, this is a complete sham. Ha ha, very funny, SpongeBob creators, because it's just something that sounds funny.
Right.
But the way they used it, if I remember correctly, it had a huge amount of tension on it between house to house. So it was a huge amount of tension. So it worked. Like, it's actually supposed to work. The thing is that, again, another thing, too, that also made me feel wary until I read about it, my thought is, wait, but if you're close enough to each other, because how long is your fucking string, you're probably just hearing the person because they're over there.
Yeah.
But no, it's you have enough tension, depending on, even if you're that far away, as long as you have the full string from can to can, yes, it travels through the vibrations, and if it's a straight line, then it goes right into the other can, and you can hear what the person is saying. Fucking weird. And I'm sure some people in other parts of the U.S. are like, yeah, Matt, that totally worked. Like, what, did you not have any friends? Don't judge me. But also, no, but seriously, I live in a small railroad apartment, and I live in Queens. So, like, very hard for me to test this out, even if I had a lot of friends growing up. But still, like, yeah, like, it was just a weird thing to hear in, you know, on television and on TV and be like, yeah, this is bullshit. And then see it here, and I'm like, wait, is this bullshit? And then Googling it and wanting to tell you, like, apparently that's real. Although it is funny how I see demons, allegedly demons, in this whole show, right, throughout the entire show. And I'm like, that can thing, I don't think that's right. I don't know about that can thing. I don't know, guys.
I don't know about this, guys.
My first thought is aliens, but I don't know about this can thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not
so
sure,
what
guys.
Scene?
Something seems fishy here.
My God, what scene in this show really got to you? Because you in a good way. Because you mentioned the one that I assume is your worst scene, which is the one where she's there for survival. What is the scene that really got you to be like, hey, even if it's not one that's funny, still one that you were like, damn, or like, hey, that's awesome, some positive emotion.
I mean, it was positive. No. Well, it's funny. I don't know if it was positive, but when they bring back Emma after Isabel breaks her leg, and like, well, now you'll have to stay. After her and Ray are talking to save Norman, they're like, I'll just break his arm and it's fine. Like, he'll heal in time. I'm like,
yes.
Holy shit! Like,
I know.
You went from 0 to 1,000 in 5 seconds. Like, please press the gas pedal for a split second.
No, they have to push it harder to break that arm clean.
Oh my God!
They have to push it harder.
Yeah.
No. So my favorites were these two. The first was, about like, Ray said that I couldn't get sick. Yeah, in this book it says that idiots can't get sick.
Right, okay.
Lost my shit.
That was good.
And the second one was when Norman was being walked out and he looks up at Mom and he goes, are you happy? And I was like, just knifed her in the back. Just, honestly, dude, put away the stun gun. You got her.
Right. You got her. Yeah.
You got her.
Yeah, that was another one.
I love that line because you saw like
she
everything.
Reacted. Like, that one broke the armor.
Talking about breaking the armor. That one just shattered it for a bit. Like, she had to repair that. Like, that was so good. So I think for me, like, in terms of positive feelings, those two were the most positive. Even though it might have been considered a cop-out to some, because it pretty much was, another positive feeling, I think, was when it's Dawn, and then I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I believe it started with
Gilda.
a G. Gilda, thank you. Yes, Gilda, when they were, quote-unquote, going to be caught, and then it's just fucking Phil, like, I'm playing hide and seek. And they're like, Jesus H. fucking Christ, Phil.
You know, it's funny going back now, like, because Phil was able to pick up on things too. So it's like, did you just scare the ever living shit out of them for
No. But I will admit though, again, like at first I thought, because we were talking about, much earlier, we were talking about kids being more aware than people think, which is a theme that we've seen a lot in Japanese media, to be fair. But I still think it's something that is lost on some people, maybe in Japan, but also the general public in the West. That's what I know as someone who is an adult now who, like, talks to people, and they're like, oh, yeah, these kids. Like, it's even as someone who is, because I'm not a debate coach anymore, but I work with different leagues sometimes. And even though it's probably more of parents just being shocked at their kids, but these parents are like, these kids can debate so well. And, like, you would think that they're talking about, like, 6-year-olds, but, like, they're in middle school or high school. It's like, yes, they can. Like, they have to just, like, they study other things. Why can't they just study the topic and then do well in debating it? Like, granted, I do think that it's parents taking, a liking to what their kids are doing and having an interest in their hobby. So, like, I'm not going to shit on them for it. I'm just saying that, like, in other cases, though, it can come off as that. Like, it's like you can talk about a pet and be like the veterinarian, but if you do that to a kid, they're like, the veterinarian? How did you know? Well, I kind of get colors, so I'm halfway there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do you? I pretty much got some words down packed too. So yeah. Like, I'm good. I kind of get, like, it's just kind of funny. But in this case, though, again, I'm happy they still understood. Like I mentioned earlier, Phil and Under, probably not good for the mission, but still showing that Phil, because Phil was around some really weird shit, like when Crone was like looking under the beds, and she's like, "I'm just cleaning the floor," and he's like, "I'm just gonna say cool because, look, I got a house and I'm playing with my friends, but like, you don't have a bucket, lady."
Right, yeah. It's like you don't have, like, I know what cleaning is. Like, I've seen other kids do it, and I've seen Mom do it before. That's not, obviously that's not what you're doing, but all right. Why would you lie to me?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? They're not going to question it, but that doesn't mean that they're just like obedient, like robots.
Right. It's like, that makes sense. No, it doesn't, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense, but like, why are we going to fight about it? You know?
Yeah, right. I have no reason to fight you over it or figure out what you're really actually doing. It's just kind of
It's not my
curious.
bad. See ya.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, but again, it's nice that when they're like, "Hey, Phil, something's going on here." He's like, "I have a journal. We should look at it." Just pulls out his notes. "I have been covering this for 4 years." Phil, you are 4. Shut up. "I have been covering this for 4 years." Phil, most of this is scribbles. Yes, some of this was written before I knew what words were. But anyway, all of these are my notes. Take them. I'm going to die. No, Phil, you're fine. We're leaving. You're fine. Oh, thank goodness. I did not want to die yet. Okay, Phil, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, guys, but I have been an informant for Mother.
It's gonna be
my God, Phil. Yes, I was going to light myself on fire. Jesus Christ. Ray's like, not a bad idea, bro. Ray.
He took that out of my book. Fuck. Hey, I'm just saying.
Literally, he has a book. I ripped it out. Hey.
Hey, I told you to take care of that. Ha, joke's on you, sucker.
Jesus Christ. So, what do you have to say about these kids today, Phil? They're fucking twipping. I swear to God. All these little shits.
Well, they're no Emma, Norman, or Ray, but we can make do. I just Mr. Piccolo.
The tiniest little informant. He'd just be so great.
I'm not actually here, right? Ah, shit.
You know, speaking of informants, I thought that Don was going to be an informant for a second, and I also thought that Ray was going to die first instead of Norman.
Yeah. Right.
Like something,
too.
But it was smarter to take out Norman if he is truly dead, because he's the smartest one, quote unquote, out of the three of them. So you had to shake up something without someone who could easily make counter plans.
People.
Yeah,
that too.
You needed to remove someone, because if Ray had been removed, yes, you would have removed someone who had info and intel and a connection with, but you always have Norman creating plans, two plans. So even though his plan, which didn't really have to work, still ended up working in a sense, still there were some hiccups that I think if Norman was there, you would have not had them. Like Ray obviously wanting to, kill himself to save everyone. That wouldn't have been there if Ray was dead. So things would have been too clean. Like in some cases, as someone who just watches a lot of media, sometimes certain drama feels forced because you have to.
Right.
But to be fair, when you're watching something, you have to have some type of conflict. It can't just be, happy-go-lucky, even though obviously everything is dramatic and sad otherwise, but them trying to escape is just so easy, and they walk through it and there isn't like any tension. That's why, even though I'm not a big fan of the way Crone was drawn in some respects and stuff like that, still I'm happy that she existed as a character.
Right.
Because even though it was bad representation, because I don't know, some people might not know this, and it's true, I say this, I'm not saying this to be facetious, some people online literally say, what? It's representation, that's good, that's what you want, right? Not all representation is good representation, but the fact is that we did need another character, irregardless, we need another character who was an adult, who knew things, who could pass this on, not just to the kids, but also us watching to see what the hell's going on. We needed that character, so I'm happy that it was her. But yeah, it kind of, a lot of stuff was, got changed up. Not because, of course, her stalking them, Jesus Christ. And also the fact that, again, a lot of things were flipped around. So, like, Dawn is good person, but really headstrong. And it's just like, Dawn. No, because, like,
I felt personally attacked.
I thought, well, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, so Dawn and Gilda, they're dead.
Yeah, Gilda.
They're dead because I thought they were going to be caught. And even though, Mom, quote unquote, found the key, that was so funny. I found this on the floor. Yeah. But the communicators, the chips in them. That also is very high tech. I mean, granted, you actually can put those in dogs and children now, but still, it still is kind of like, again, this isn't like olden times.
Right.
If you weren't noticing the calendars, you still didn't pick up on the
right, modern
yes,
tech.
at the very least. So that was interesting to look at.
Thinking that the demons have some sort of like magic or some sort of otherworldly power to them. I don't know how or, exactly yet, but, like, something. There's got to be something.
The flowers.
Yeah, right. That's like the tip of the iceberg that kind of says to me, at least, you got more going on than you're letting on here.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else before we start to wind things down and wrap it up. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm so happy that you recommended this to me. So happy that we're actually current on something. The fact that this just ended within the year, and heck, on the dub just ended on television within the month. That's insane.
Feels good.
We're never this timely. And it's funny that we've been a bit more timely recently. So when we say that, people are like, "Really?" Longtime fans are like, "You've been saying that a lot recently." But no, but like. But usually,
we really did this time. I promise.
No, it's just really cool that this happened. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this show, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the manga, read more of that, and probably by the time this is out, since we're recording this in advance, by the time this is out, we might, not we, sadly, but me, because I don't want to spoil it for you, but me, probably I'll be doing reviews of the newer manga chapters as they come out on our TG Productions YouTube channel. Not a plug, just being serious. This is how invested in this show I am now. I'm like, oh God.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I just think it worked on a lot of levels. It wasn't too much of anything.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a series that deserves its praise.
Yes. Because it wasn't too gory. It wasn't too slow, in my opinion. I mean, I didn't mention this before, as we've been saying slow a lot, but I should have mentioned, I'm pretty sure this took up 38 chapters and 12 episodes. That's good.
Right.
I mean, you look at something like Naruto at one point, because now it's, of course, done, but Naruto and One Piece, wasn't there like a recent episode, and some people who watch One Piece might be like, it's every episode now, but wasn't there a recent episode you and I were talking about, even though we don't keep up, but a friend of ours does, who said, one chapter became one episode.
Yeah, it's a chapter an episode now. Yep.
That's
or has
insane.
been for a bit now.
That's insane. Just, like, honest to God, I know filler isn't the most popular thing to do, but
that's crazy.
You gotta, I mean, you don't want to stop it because you don't want to stop because if they stopped One Piece in Japan, like, they would lose the time slot. So, like, I get that.
Right.
But, like, you got to do a year-long filler or something. I know it's terrible. It doesn't sound good. But when it comes to the survivability of your series. One chapter an episode. That's why I'm just going to read all of the manga with the app, maybe watch some filler if I want to, laugh at some stuff that's non-canon,
right, yeah.
and watch the movies.
How ridiculous it got.
Yeah, and watch the movies, and then I'm gonna F off. Like, I'm not gonna watch this. How many episodes? Was it more than 1,000?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'll admit,
1,000.
I know I complained. It sounded like I was complaining about the 12-episode season and then it cutting off here. Don't get it twisted, guys. I do prefer this style. Like, it would have been interesting to see Dragon Ball Z in this style. It never would have happened. Even now, Super got a full 133-episode run, but it would have been interesting to see Dragon Ball Z in this style of just adapting, the series in like 25 episode seasons, 13 to 25. Rather than going, how long can this man physically scream? How long can this woman scream?
No, just saying it like that. Where's the lie, though? You ain't wrong, but like...
Yeah. How much...
Fuck, man.
It was a mix. How much can they scream versus how much downtime do they technically have between these fights?
Right. How long do they have before someone tries to kill them again?
Enough time to try to get their license.
Hey!
I mean, seriously, like I swear to God, they probably would have had an episode of The Promised Neverland trying to teach Emma how to ride a horse. Granted, they would have never shown the horses again and never talked about them again. But you got to get that filler in.
Right.
So no, I'm happier with this. I'm happier with this pace. 12 or 13 episodes, sometimes 2 core, 24, 25. And then a break for a year. Because, I mean, we're getting in 2020. Even if it's late 2020, still we're sadly slowly encroaching upon 2020 since we're at the end of Halloween in July. We're slowly getting there. Dear God, it's not as far off as you think. Although, to be fair, this aired, when did this was in February on, like, Japanese television, Crunchyroll?
Yeah, I think so,
yeah. Because that's when it started. Okay. So should also note, really cool as 2 older anime fans, really cool to see this thing dubbed on television within the same year that it was released in Japan. We keep on mentioning Dragon Ball Z. It ended in Japan before coming over here in the U.S. English. That's crazy.
Right.
Still, I always mention that just to be like, not to try to do the back in my day thing, just to be like, oh my God.
But
you and I can say we saw it both. You and I can say we both saw it in different languages.
Right.
You saw redubbed
right?
within the same year, and do a podcast on it. Insane. And for some fans who consistently watch new anime, you're like, yeah, the appeal, the appeal's worn off, and I get it. But it's just crazy when I think about the DVDs that I have on my shelf, and just thinking about like the difference in schedule and all that stuff is just crazy. DVD and VHS tapes. So anyway, anything you want to say about the show? Any speculation? Anything like that? We speculated a bit earlier on, but anything else you want to speculate on? You're thinking demons more than aliens? You're thinking.
I mean, fuck. I could see either happening. I've been around the block enough to be like, it could go either way.
I love it.
I really am interested to see where they go in the future. And obviously the manga's out, but
But where do you think it's gonna go?
I really think we might get that 2-year skip with Emma trying to free other kids.
Mm-hmm. Question. Oh, sorry, you first.
They're definitely going to have to work on survival skills, and it's definitely not going to be easy. But I think they can pull it off.
You think they're going to find
cohesive,
a big city, or you think it's going to be like mostly demons, or do you think it's like just a few elites, like?
I think it might be they'll find like the house in the woods kind of thing. Like they might find that writer who was sending out the Morse code.
Right. I hope that's
or find some clue. Yeah.
Because it would suck if, we have to wait 2 years for a payoff on that. That's another thing, too, that I think is...
turns into trying to find the basement scenario.
Basically. Well, because what I think another thing, too, is just it's not so much the anime or the creator's fault who created the manga. Another difference, too, that even though, again, I still like this format better than just give me constant episodes with really either bad, questionable, or even sometimes good filler, still what I enjoy about what some of the drawbacks to this is the anime, while being created to have, these gaps and make you go, oh my God, I can't wait to see next time, et cetera, still it wasn't made with that, let's say, 2-year payoff. Granted, yes, these are being done weekly, so of course there is technically still going to be a multi-year payoff to something. But in terms of how it's animated, if we do learn about this dude in like season 3 or 4, it would feel like it's it would feel a bit more artificial. Like, wow, it took 3 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years to find out about this dude. Where in the manga, it might take technically as long, but again, with the way the chapters are being done, it's a bit harder to notice, I feel.
Yeah.
Like that kind of gap, because it still feels like there's always quote unquote new content versus this, which is like you get your 12 a year. Shut up. We were talking about some, just potential the musings about what's going to happen in the future. So you're right. They might find that cabin in the woods. I just don't think they all make it out alive. Even if they have a gap, I think that some of them are gonna die.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure that there's going to be some
casualties
in the road and some fatality. Yeah, casualty. There we go. I almost said fatalities.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's
same
in context.
Yeah, same.
Dun 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 dun. Question.
Dun dun dun.
Were you spoiled about any of this show before watching it?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, I was
other
spoiled.
than maybe a little bit in passing, because Anthony and our other friend had talked about it a little bit, but it was nothing that I remembered that carried through into the series. Nothing specific enough that I was like, oh, that's it,
So Phil pays better attention than you. Is that what you're saying, Tristan? Is that what you're saying?
All right, Matt, you didn't have to go there, but all right.
He's a fictional 4-year-old. Before you get offended, he's a fictional 4-year-old.
And you're saying a fictional 4-year-old pays better attention than me, Matt. Whoa.
I just
we'll
wish.
See. We'll see.
Replace any one of those babies. Replace any one of those babies with Pan. The show would have been. I love the show, but it would have been infinitely better. And this is the show that I love.
Pan saves the world.
Replace one of the babies with Pan. Just one.
Oh,
just one.
God, that would have been fucking hilarious.
Pan
Baby
just
Pan
bursts,
saves the day.
Just bursts through the building. Well, that was unexpected.
Shoots a fucking Kamehameha wave at the demons. Oh, God, it's literally going to be the beginning of Dragon Ball.
While laughing. That's all. Anyway.
I want to see Pan's mystical adventure.
Yes, I was spoiled simply due to the fact that just people talking about this online, you see stuff through Twitter, even if it's people, this is the one thing I don't like about Twitter now, even if it's not someone you follow, someone that you follow could just like something else that someone posted, and then you see it in your feed now.
Oh.
It's the dumbest shit. That should be what retweets are for. But no, likes also do the same thing. So if we like someone else's post, which we do often, I'll comment on people's posts through our @ThoseGuysRadio Twitter account, all of a sudden it'll be on one of our followers, like feeds. And it's like, why? If I retweeted it, that makes sense, but then why is the retweet function? Some would say, well, the retweet function exists because you could comment above the tweet. So, you can comment on it so that if, let's say, it's something you don't agree with, but you still see the comment above it, it's like, well, yeah, then you didn't like it. It's like, yeah, but why do people want to see what I like, and why do I want to see what other people like? I want to see what they post, like what they write or what they retweet if they so want to do that. Why do I want to see what they like? Anyway, but so people must have liked something or whatever, and because of that, I knew that they were demons and that the first episode was rough. So I was like, oh, them kids. I posted it on Facebook. You saw it. Me, 5 minutes into watching the first episode of The Promised Neverland.
My God,
these kids are going to be all right.
Right. gee. Okay, that's why you're. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These kids are going to be just fine. Oh yeah, because you were like, this is so funny. Like you thought I was getting tricked, and I'm like, no. Like I know that one of these kids is going to die horrifically because someone had said like, hey, like it's crazy that it had that twist and that one of the, that like these kids. I don't know. Like I could swear I didn't read it like on Wikipedia to try to get spoiled. I'm pretty sure it was just someone posting about it. Like, oh, also because when you post about the controversy surrounding Crone, you then hear about the story. So I'm pretty sure I also just got it through that as well.
Right.
So, but I didn't know like in context. Like now I'm not fully defending it, but I am going, hey guys, like it's not like she is this crazy black woman stereotype and everyone else is picture perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Like everyone, there's something going down with everyone.
Right.
The whole place has problems. So that's why I feel differently. Of course, people can feel differently than I, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be offended or shouldn't be upset by it. Like you believe what you believe. I'm not going against that. But for me, after seeing it the whole season, I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. Bit different than like the Tom and Jerry situation or even other shows of that period where they just had these characters who were just complete caricatures and did really nothing to progress the story.
Yeah.
But anyway, jumping back to being spoiled. Yeah, so I was spoiled on this first. Like, I knew what I was getting into going into it, but I didn't know, like, the logistics of every episode, how it would turn out. So that's kind of why I'm like, all right, I know that there's demons. I know that they want to eat these kids. Let's see what happens. And I know that the maid, in my head, I thought she was the maid at the time. Now I know that she's one of the moms, is going to come in here at some point. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So it's one of those interesting things where, like, I think some situations, some shows, for me, usually I hate being spoiled, or at least that was me when I was younger. Now I'm a bit more lax on it, but there was a point when I was like, no spoilers, nothing, going completely blind. But I do feel like in certain situations, as long as, like, if someone had told me, like, at the end of the season they get out, right? I'd be like, you motherfucker. No!
Yeah, right.
Because that's a shitty thing. But to hear, like, oh, yeah, there's demons. And it's not a big spoiler because it happens in the first episode, and I believe the first chapter, too. So, like, It's not the biggest, or, like, the first few chapters, I believe, unsure. It's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
I think. Like, it actually makes you go, oh, interesting. Let me check this out.
Right.
But damn, you going into this blind. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, I went pretty much
God.
blind into the first episode.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Just, dear God. Anything you want to say before we wrap this one up?
Definitely looking forward to season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, because now I can't wait to read the chapters that were adapted into this season of the anime and see what was different, what was changed, maybe some stuff that was left out, and see where the show goes from here. So that'll be very interesting as well. Again, I mentioned I'll be doing reviews of that over at our TG Productions YouTube channel, and definitely one that not only would I recommend to new fans and older fans alike, but something that I think it was just I'm older now, so I will admit some of the characters, like if you don't think about the fact that remember that no, they're 12, you might be like, hey, kind of, you might be a bit like, because you're older and smarter, you might forget like no, they are smart, but they're not mature.
Right.
So there are going to be some differences.
It's funny. Yeah. Like, I mean, I usually get that a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, in this, I thought they did such a good job with,
I do too.
their process of figuring things out and how they handled it. Like, it never bothered me,
That's fair. I think it's more of like Emma's attitude in some cases, but I also should note as well, really cool to see a female protagonist, and maybe it's because usually you and I float around in the shonen realm, but even stuff that's like not technically considered shonen, usually I see a lot more male protagonists unless the series is based around romance for some reason.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so I'm really happy that even though it's more of an ensemble cast, we still have Emma, dear God, we still have Emma as the protagonist of this show. Those are also really cool as well.
Because in the end, she's the one leading. She is the one leading the operation, and even Ray is like caught off guard at things that she comes up with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So no, I definitely enjoy that as well. And but thinking of anything else.
And I guess I love that she's that, like, it felt like each one of them had a different mental faculty or of the mind that made them strong in different ways.
Yes.
Like
honestly,
with Norman.
Yeah. Sorry, you've heard.
Yeah, Norman being able to read people, and of course, like, just all three of them intelligence in general, obviously, but each of them had something specific to them that they were good at. Like, even, like, Ray's kind of force of will, like, he was able to push himself. He's like, I don't even really like to read books, but I knew I had to make myself, a desirable product and, be able to work my way out of things, too. Or the fact that he's good with tech, too, to be able to even build something, to MacGyver something, to be able to remove the chips. And then Emma as well, she has a real sixth sense about people's feelings. Or like an instinct.
Well, she has the guts to do it too.
Yeah,
like if there was no Emma, I don't think there would really be a driving force for Norman or for Ray.
Right. Yeah.
But something that I want to mention as well, just not just about the three of them combined, but also when looking at I remembered what I was going to say. This is going to be a seamless transition, Tristan, seamless cut.
I want the evidence left in, damn you.
But I like that Emma has a very similar, like, she still has that anime protagonist mindset, but again, it's something that I can find annoying in someone like Naruto, but again, I'm happy that I could find it somewhat annoying in her as well. Because, again, she's 12. Naruto was 12. I think 10 or 12. What I'm trying to get at, Tristan, is I'm happy that those guts, that determination that, like, I'm an anime protagonist, so I can do this, even though I'm in a series that I'm not technically immortal or super strong or whatever, I'm going to push forward because I will do this. I have this, this determination. I like that was the case with her. Yes, of course, she definitely, her will shook a little bit, not for as long as we thought, but at least a little bit with the seemingly death of Norman. It wasn't crazy long, but I'm still sure it shook her for a second. I mean, we saw her pleading with him and all around all the kids, but it still doesn't mean that she's, like, reserved. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love that she is she is just herself. Like, some could think of it as, oh, she's obnoxious, but you know what? Like, anime dude protagonists get to be obnoxious all the time. And granted, sometimes we dislike them for it. I know you weren't the biggest fan of Naruto growing up, but I'm happy that we can have this type of character not just be for these young boy protagonists. We can also have it with her as well, And something else that I wanted to mention, I was mentioning the kids, like, sometimes you look at them and you're like, oh, they're children. So like for some people who are as old as us or older, it takes you out of it. I think it's a bit different than some other shows as well. Like something like Death Note, even though I liked it as a teenager, I was talking to, you know what, I can say this. It was Pete, who has worked with us before on the channel, and he wasn't a big fan of it. And I realized the age gap. I think he's about maybe like 6-7 years older than I am. Sorry, Pete, if I'm wrong. Pete will not hear this probably. But if you do, Pete, my bad. But I bring this up because, again, when we were teenagers, so Death Note really worked for us. It made sense. Right. He was in his 20s, so to him it looks like Light is this kind of sniveling idiot, but even though he's so super duper smart, and he's the super duper smartest, and yada yada, and all this stuff, and he's like this perfect protagonist, but technically antagonist, so cool, edgy, all this stuff. For us, it worked because we were teenagers at the time. But looking at Promised Neverland even now, I like that none of them seems to be the smartest all the time. There are flaws, there are problems. They have to work around them, and they do, because even though it's not easy, they still get through it in the season.
Right.
Still,
and that they're able to work off
yeah.
each other for their shortcomings, too. Like,
yes.
that's the importance of their group dynamic.
Exactly. Whereas someone like Light, even though that's still a series that I enjoy, I don't dislike the series. I'm not like changing my thoughts on it. I still do enjoy it. Still, I have to accept it as the manga or the show where it's kind of comical in a way how much Light just one-ups the other side. In this case, either L or whoever else one-ups them so much that then they have to one-up him, and then he one-ups them, and then it's just like, dude, like he's super duper smart, but he's 17 years old. Like,
right, yeah.
You know, like, but when we were teenagers, we were like, yeah, ooh, ooh, dun 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 dun. We're like, yeah. We're like, I take a potato chip and eat it, and we're like, oh, so cool, Mondo cool, Mondo chip, but
God damn it,
and but
yeah, that's my bicep.
That hasn't been. That is technically a next episode preview, arguably. But
next time on the Promised Neverland.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Oh.
No, but yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. Very interesting stuff, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you're listening to this through our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel, tell us what you thought about the entire season below. And because it covers the same, stuff that was in the manga, you can say, like earlier I was like, please don't spoil, but like obviously you can say, hey, I liked the anime better than the manga, like the manga better, pacing, whatever it is. Please tell us your thoughts about all of that stuff down below. And I do believe if you are listening to this through our Blog Talk Radio account, blogtalkradio.com/thoseguysontheradio, you can also comment below on there as well when this is public. And also another way to download this if you'd like, on the go, you can actually search us up on iTunes, search up Those Guys there, and you can find all of the stuff that we've done in Halloween in July down below. And yeah, sadly, we're close to wrapping up this month, at least with Anime Saturday or Anna Saturdays. However, and anime stuff in general, cartoons in general. But there is some other stuff that should be coming up, I believe even with Tristan as well, this month. But in terms of the anime stuff, yeah, we did it all. We did, and again, we did it very soon. We've been very timely recently. We've been recording all of our stuff in advance. Tristan, how does it feel to be on time? How does it feel to not be scrambling at the last minute? It hurts. It hurts to not be scrambling.
It feels good.
That is the oddest take ever on being prepared. Oh, my God. But no, I hope you guys, stick with us when we talk about The Promised Neverland Season 2 in 2020. And because we do a lot of stuff as well. It's not just Promised Neverland content. We talk about a lot of different stuff on a Saturday, on Friday Night Movies, on Star Trek Thursdays or Star Wars Wednesdays, things like that, on our Those Guys on the Radio channel. Also, I mentioned earlier Keikaku Corner, where we talk about all of these different news topics and articles, which we also do that live on our Twitch on Tuesdays, not every Tuesday, usually twice a month, twitch.tv/TG Productions, and also we then post them as clippy clips on our YouTube channel. And if you want to get the audio versions of those, of Keikaku Corners, of Matt Rants, of plenty of different stuff that we do, those wrestling guys, all that stuff, you can actually get them over at our Patreon, patreon.com/TG Productions. You can help us be us, help keep the lights on, and you can get stuff from us in return, extra stuff like that as well. So also remember Those Guys Play. We played a lot of fun Halloween stuff this month. And also did some reviews and stuff like that, really cool retrospectives, real cool stuff like that. And TG Productions, where at this point I've definitely done some manga reviews. We have Toku Station there as well, where I talk about different tokusatsu news topics or do tokusatsu reviews in audio form. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff you can get through all those stuff. And also, if you can and you should subscribe to all those channels, but you could also follow us through our Facebook, facebook.com/ThoseGuysOnTheRadio, our Twitter, which again is @ThoseGuysRadio, and our main website, which is tgproduction.net. I got it all, Tristan. I just don't want to see it go. I know we have to end the show, but I feel like we're ending us talking about this, and damn it, I really like this.
I know, but it's okay,
all right,
because there's hope. And the future is bright.
Yay.
And, oh, my God, is that a demon? No.
So they told me that I should kill you, so I'm gonna do that. Kill.
Find out
stab.
next time when Mac kills me and reveals that he is a demon.
Oh God. If I didn't reveal that I would feel bad. I would feel bad if I didn't reveal that to you yet. 11 years.
Right? Yeah, I know.
Huge.
11 years in the making.
Everyone who didn't like that Attack on Titan took that long. Imagine me not revealing that to you for 11 years.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Yeah, top 10. All right, so any last words before we sign off?
I'm just gonna keep going into shitty one-liners like that, so you might as well just push me in the ravine. Just get it over with. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Jesus Christ. All right, so goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night, everyone.
Stay frosty.
There you go.
Don't fall into any containers of goo.
Don't talk to any strange demons you don't know.
Only the ones that you do know. Good night.
And don't eat children.
I mean, that should. Oh, is this show just for? For Ed Gein? I'm pretty sure this is. Pretty sure that's. Or was it 10 Buddy? I don't know which one. I'm just saying. I think it's it's something across the board. I'm hoping.
Yeah, but just in case anyone needed to hear that.
Just in case. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.